Hey everyone, I'm going to take a look at the players you can get from the daily penalty game on eFootball. If you've been scoring your penalties, you should be getting Franck Ribéry today, but there's also Didier Drogba, David Beckham and Tony Adams available, and there's a bunch of highlight cards as well. So I'm going to take a quick look at all those players, see how good they are. As always, I'll put timestamps in the description for each player, so if you want to hear about particular players, click on the description and there'll be a link to take you straight to them. So, there are two packs that we get to spin on. One we get halfway through each lap, and that gives us a spin on the Drogba pack. And in there we have Isak, Konaté, Vicario and Sabitzer highlight cards, as well as a Galatasaray Drogba card. And the other one that you get includes Tony Adams and David Beckham from when he was at LA Galaxy, and then you got Carvajal, Oblak, Salah and Palmer highlight cards. We'll start by taking a look at Franck Ribéry, because you get him from completing a lap one. He's the first legend we're going to get from this. So let's have a look at Franck Ribéry. And like the Beckham and Drogba cards, this is from the tail end of Ribéry's career. This is when he was a Fiorentina aged 38, so he wasn't in his prime anymore, but it's still a pretty decent card. We can play him attacking midfield, or we can play him as a forward, wide left or wide right. If you use position trainers, you can also get SS, or you can get left mid or right mid. I'm not sure I'd want to play this guy as a centre mid, but if you really want to, you could get that. But we're looking at this guy as either a number 10 or as a wide man. If you position train him, then the way I'll build him out wide won't be any different between wide forward and wide midfield, and likewise the way I'm going to build him for attack and mid would pretty much the same for SS. But I'm just going to do a couple of builds on him, so it wouldn't do a great deal. Obviously he's great on the ball, as you'd expect with Ribéry. Low and off the pass are great, both hitting 90, finishing hitting 80 is good. Likewise attacking awareness. It's the speed it's as to be expected really. If it's a card based on him at the age of 38, he's not going to be as quick as he was, so he's not the quickest at 81 speed. Acceleration 88 is good. Kicking power, I'd like that to be a bit higher. Balance 90 is great. Decent stamina for a guy of his age on this card. Fairly two-footed. If you look down the skills, he does have outside curl as well though. Through passing is a good one. Accurate finishing, chip shot control, but could do with a few more for end product. One touch pass would be good. Long range shooting, long range curler, first time shot. Some of those skills I think would make a difference with this card. Got a bunch of skill moves, as you'd expect. I think the dribblers would like this guy. Clearly not on the level of the previous Ribéry cards though. Like I say, it's one of him when he's 38, so it's not quite as good as other Ribéry cards. If you've got one of the better ones, you probably wouldn't need this one, but he's a creative playmaker that'll be active in all three of the positions he's got. And if you position train him for left mid, right mid or SS, it'll be an active playing style in those positions as well. I'll train him first as a wide man. We'll see how quick we can get him, because we do need more pace on this guy if we're going to play him out wide. To be honest, you could just do away with all the finishing and passing if you're going to use him out wide and just try and dribble his way into the box, and just go all in on pace there. Yeah, you could do something like that, to be honest. You could maybe lose one more dribbling, give him some shooting. Yeah, as a wide man there, you can get that speed up to 88 to match his acceleration. Still not got electric pace, but he's pretty quick. And he's still got that balance at 90, attacking awareness at 80, finishing nearly 80, low enough to pass, but still just past 80 and 90 plus and all the on the ball attributes. I think that's as much as I'd do with him, to be honest, as a wide man. I don't think you can do a great deal more. We've got virtually nothing on his end product, so there's no points to spare from there. I don't think you want to sacrifice how good he is on the ball as a winger. And so then it's just the speed and acceleration. That's about as quick as you can get him. So would he be good as a winger? Yes. Would he be as good as the other versions of him? No, obviously not. But if you've not got a good version of Ribéry as a wide man, I think it could be a fun one. He's always been quite fun on the ball. I've not got it myself. I've used a couple of friends' versions of Ribéry, some of the better versions, and he is a lot of fun on the ball. So yeah, maybe not as good as other versions of him, but it's still a good version of him if you don't have one. It looks like he's going to be pretty fun as a winger. I think he'd be very usable. I think better on the left. If you give him long range curler, play him on the left, it'll be very effective. And to build him as an attacking midfielder, which is his registered position, and again, creative playmaker will still be an active playing style there. Obviously, we need more passing on him, so we take that speed back down again, just so that his kicking power is 80. I don't want to go below 80 for kicking power. And the dexterity, I might just leave that at 8. I think that's fine. Dribbling, I'll leave that on 11, but that passing, where can we get that passing up to 8? Yeah, we'll go 90 for low enough to pass. Get his finishing back up to 80, and one left over, just stick it on area, that's important now. Yeah, as an attacking mid, still very nice on the ball there, but we've got the low enough to pass up to the 90 mark, which is great. He's got through passing, but I'll give him one touch pass as well. I think that's well worth doing. Finishing 80 is great on an attacking midfielder, attacking awareness 80 likewise. We're back to not being the quickest, but I think on an attacking midfielder, creative playmaker, not so important. 82 for speed, it could be worse. Acceleration 88 is good, balance 90 is great, and the stamina's not too bad at 84. So yeah, I think as an attacking midfielder, I'll build him like this. So you've got a couple of ways you can use this guy. I think either way, if you play him attacking mid, I think you'd need one touch pass for a start, and maybe his first time shot, long range shooting. If you're going to play him up wide, I think off the left flank, long range curler. You could put him on the right and give him pinpoint crossing, but I'm not sure that's the best use of him. I think as a winger off the left flank as an inverted winger, giving him long range curler could be very effective there. So 1 or 2 skills needed however you use him, but you've got 2 uses for this guy, and he might not be as good as the best versions of Ribéry that we've had. I think we've had a couple now, but it's still a good version of him if you don't already have a good one. So it could be a very fun one for a lot of people to get. So let's go to the first of these 2 packs, and then we get some chance deals for. Okay, we've got Beckham and Adams in here. Let's start with Mo Salah. He still hasn't had his haircut, but we'll jump onto eFootball Hub and we'll see how good he is. And to be honest, it's just another Mo Salah. It's not one of the better ones. We've had a few slightly better than this, but it's not far off. It's on around about the same level as most of the previous ones, apart from obviously it's been 1 or 2 showtimes, a bit better. But yeah, it's a good version of Salah. There's nothing particularly exciting about it. He's a roaming flank. He's got one position as a right winger, wide right forward, whatever you want to call it. Would I do much with the way his points are allocated? I wouldn't do a great deal. I'd like the kicking power a bit higher. Where are we going to nick a point from? Speed. Speed's what we need to get higher. We're not going to spare one from there. Passing. I'm going to just sneak a couple from passing. Thank you. Yeah, just get that kicking power to the 80 mark. Tiny difference, but mainly an OCD thing, to be honest, more than anything. But yeah, rapid, good on the ball, fantastic attacking awareness and a wide forward, finishing 90, balance 90, great stamina. It's what you'd expect from Salah, really. Just another Salah card. You've got long range curler, long range shooting. Maybe he could do a first time shot. I think with passing being a bit dodgy, 1 touch pass and through passing would be well worth putting on him if you get this card and if you plan to use him regularly. I think the only other thing to say really with the Salah card, you can position train these cards. They're trainable. I don't think I train him much differently as a right midfielder, but through the middle, I don't think his passing is good enough to play as a kind of number 10, but you could train him as a centre forward. There's been 1 or 2 player of the week cards of Salah that were centre forward that were really nice. If you train this card as a centre forward, I don't think I'd train him much differently, to be honest. I'd leave the training pretty much as it is, with that awareness being 94, finishing 90, fantastic on the ball. Passing's okay for a striker, great pace, balance. As a centre forward, all you got to do is just chuck however many position changes you need. It might be just 1 for you, it would be about 40 for me, but you make him a centre forward, could be a very nice Salah card, very nice indeed. So yeah, it's just another Salah card really, but it's obviously a very good card because it always is with Salah. So if you've not got a good version of Salah and you get this card, you'll be happy with this for sure. Next we will look at Cole Palmer. So we've got a creative playmaker, Cole Palmer. Let's jump on eFootball Hub again, see how good this guy is. So it's a pretty good version of Cole Palmer, to be honest. We've had a few in the past that aren't too far off. It's a pretty similar level to previous ones, but it is one of the better ones. He's a creative playmaker. That'll be an active playing style, all his positions except centre forward. We'll come to that. But to train him initially, as an attack midfielder, would I do much different here? Yeah, a little bit. You could scrimp a few from shooting there. Leave that at the 80 mark. I'd like to get his passing up as an attack midfielder. That's the thing. You can spare a couple from dribbling. Would I just do that? Maybe that. Get his speed up to 80. Yeah, as an attack midfielder, I think important getting that passing up on the ball. Still 90 plus in all those 3. Attacking awareness is really good for an attacking mid. Low pass up to 90 now. That's great. Finishing at 80 still. Similar to Ribéry, not the quickest, but as an attacking midfielder, creative playmaker, not too important. Acceleration 86 is pretty good. Kicking power's okay. Balance is okay. Great stamina. Put it down the skills that he's got, as we expect from Cole Palmer. Long range curler, long range shooting, first time shot. So he's got the shooting skills and 80 finishing. That's good. He's got a decent shot on him, very decent. Soul control is a nice one. But then 1 touch pass and through passing crucial on an attacking midfielder. So we've got a good selection of skills. He's got end product. So as an attacking mid, I'll build him like that. I think it looks pretty decent. I will train him wide right, though. He's also got wide right. So if we're playing him wide right, we need a bit more pace. Passing, not so important. He's got 1 touch pass through passing. We'll leave him over the 80 mark. Nudge that dexterity up a bit. How high can we get his pace? 11. That goes up with that 86 speed. I'll probably do that. I don't think I'd want to scrim too many more points, to be honest. We've got quite a few points on lower body. Happy enough with the dexterity, yeah. He's not got electric pace, and he's quite tall as well, so I'm not sure how kind of fluid he'll feel on the ball. I've used a couple of versions of Palmer in the past, and they felt okay on the ball. Not as good as the kind of the smaller, more nimble players, but tidy enough. He's obviously got good attributes on the ball, but better pace now to play wide right. We've sacrificed a bit on passing, but it's not so important when he's out on the wing. Great attacking awareness there, 89. Great stamina as well, that's up to 97. So yeah, wide right, also pretty nice. I think attacking mid or wide right is good. He's not kind of, I don't think he's an outstanding card by any means, but he's very usable. And as I mentioned, one thing that separates this card from other versions of Palmer, I don't think any of the previous featured versions have had centre forward as a position. This one does. Certainly the previous trainable ones, you could maybe use position trainers to get that for him, on some of them at least, depending if it's adjacent to his registered position, you know, the way it works with position trainers. But this one can already play centre forward. So can we make him a good centre forward? We can try. So let's just take all this off, except for the awareness and the finishing. We'll see if we can get that to 90. We can. That 90 mark I think is around about the mark that I like to go for on the important attributes. So we've got 17 points left. So where do we put those? Couple on passing, get his low pass up to 80. And then what pace can we give him? Yeah, he can get speed up to 84 still. So yeah, as a centre forward, remember he's got first time shot as well as long range curler and long range shooting. He's got one touch passing, through passing. Awareness and finishing up to 90. Tidy enough on the ball for a striker. Good passing, low pass at least for a centre forward. The pace is decent enough. Decent kicking power, decent balance, fantastic stamina. He's pretty usable as a centre forward, you know. So there's another option for you with this card that makes it a little bit different to previous versions of Palmer. So you can make him a pretty nice attacking midfielder, a pretty nice right winger, but you can actually make him a pretty usable centre forward as well. So you've got a few options on this card. So if you've not got a good version of Palmer and you want one, this is a pretty interesting card. I think it could be a decent card for a lot of people to pick up. And next we have David Beckham. So this is Beckham when he was at LA Galaxy, 36 years old, orchestrator. The usual positions that he tends to have, centre mid or as a right winger. So let's jump on eFootball Hub. Let's see how good we can make backs. So as expected, this is not a particularly pacey version of Beckham. He was never the quickest, but this is him towards the end of his career. The question is, how can we build this guy? What positions that he's got here is he going to be good in? So as a centre mid, I'll do two builds. I'll start off by just tweaking this build, making him a kind of all-rounder. So he's got a bit more defensive ability perhaps, if we can get more points on there. Because you need more defensive ability if he's going to be a deep lying playmaker. Doesn't need that much passing. Crikey, look at that, 100 and 101 for his low and lofted pass. That's insane. So he might be getting on a bit on this card, but he's got incredible passing. But we don't need passing to be that good. So I'm going to start with just 4 on passing there. We'll make him a bit better on the ball. Get that ball control up to 90, that's nice. A bit more dexterity. We'll give him some more balance. Get the balance up to 80. Not just steal one from lower body. Keep the kicking power at 90. We've got 4 left. Stick on aerial. Yeah, I'm not that much with defending there because he's already increased his defending by 8. So that's gonna be 3 points per increase. I'm not sure it's worth it because he's not that outstanding elsewhere. But he is good in the kind of technical areas. He's obviously not going to be a defensive-minded player, but if you play him deep, if you position training for DMF, or if you play him as a CMF with the orchestrated playing style, he's got a bit of defensive ability. He doesn't have interception or any defensive skills there, so you'd probably want to put interception on if you play him deep in the midfield. As you'd expect, great free kicks there, but great passing, even with only 4 points on passing in the 90s for low and lofted pass. We've got his ball control up to 90. He was never much of a dribbler, but he's technically very, very tidy on the ball. Attacking awareness is good in the 80s. As I said, defensively not the strongest. He's got a bit of defensive ability there, but you're going to need 1 or 2 midfielders behind him or alongside him doing the defensive work. And again, not the quickest, but kicking power at 90 is great. Got a little bit of physical contact on him. Balance is just about okay. Would like a bit more, but it is what it is. Stamina's good at 92. So as a centre midfielder orchestrator, could build him like that as a kind of well-balanced build, bit of everything, just not great defensively. If you went for a more attack-minded build, even if you trained him, position trained him to play as attack midfielder, he would not have an active playing style there. So you could play him as an attack midfielder. If you did that, you could just yoink all these points back from defending and physical. And then what would we do? I want to get his finishing up to 80 first because he's got a great shot on him. And that takes the set pieces way up as well. Crazy set pieces. A lot of fun. What else are we going to do? Leave them as they are, I think. Bit more dexterity. We've got 2 points left. Where's that going? We'll give him a bit of area. We'll get his physical contact back up to 70, yeah. So as a more attacking player, you could maybe do that. Just taking away from the defending, really, and just beefed him up a little bit going forward. So I personally would probably do that. If he's not going to be good at defending, I'll just put 1 or 2 players behind him in the midfield to defend for him and just focus on what he's good at, the passing and the shooting, getting that finishing up to 80. He's obviously got long range shooting down here, long range curler, long range shooting, dipping shot, fantastic set pieces as well. Through passing, he doesn't have one-touch pass. Wherever you play this guy, one-touch pass I think is probably the one you're going to want to put on him. Got weighted pass, obviously he's got pinpoint crossing, low lofted pass, penalties, captain's fighting spirit. So yeah, nothing defensively, but with the passing and shooting, very, very capable, as you would expect with Beckham. And then position-wise, the other one he's got, right wing. Can we make him a right wing with that lack of pace? How quick can we make him? I'm guessing not very. Let's just take everything back down here. And then, level 1 is terrible on the ball. So, with the pace, how quick can we make him? We start on... we'll just get him up to 80 for both, to be honest. So that's 11 and 13. We've got 17 points remaining. Got to get some on the ball. I'm going up to 8 dribbling. Got to be better on the ball. Even at level 1, his crossing is going to be fantastic. So we don't really need to put anything on passing. I'll put a couple on. 2 gets us to 90 low pass. That's nice. We've got 3 points left. What we're going to do, I'm going to go up to 70 physical contact and put the last one on shooting. So yeah, as a right winger, I'm not sure. Certainly his crossing is going to be out of this world. You know it's going to be 93 lofted pass, 98 curl, 96 kicking power. His crossing is going to be just about as good as anyone's. Low pass as well with through passing, but not the quickest, and he's not great on the ball. We know he's not a dribbler, but he's kind of just about okay with those attributes. So yeah, as a right winger, is it worth training him as a right midfielder? I think if you really love Beckham and you've been waiting all this time to get a Beckham card and you want to play him on the right, for sure he could do a job for you. He won't have an active playing style wide right, and of course he's not brilliant on the ball and he's not the quickest, but with the crossing, if that's all you want to do with him, just get the ball out to him on the right, whip crosses in, he can still have a lot of fun with him. But I think the best use you get out of this guy might be through the middle as a kind of attack-minded midfielder, creating and scoring goals. But either way, on the right or the middle, not elite level, but he's got amazing passing and crossing, and you could certainly have a lot of fun with him. And next up, we've got Jan Oblak. So here's our goalie in this pack. Straight onto eFootball Hub. How good can we make Jan? So he's pretty good. Do we need to do much with the way these points are allocated? Probably not. Let's have a look anyway. So it's been a couple of previous Oblaks, actually slightly better than this, but it's still a great card. If you've got a previous version, you may well find you've got a better one than this, but we'll take that jumping weight. As we know, goalkeepers don't need to be able to jump, according to Konami. Right, so we start with 8 on all 3 of these. Where does that leave us? Because I quite like that reach to get to 90. And one thing with Oblak, I always kind of assume when I watch him that he's about 6'4" or something. He's only 6'2". That's not short for a goalie. It's about average, really, but I always assume he's taller than that for some reason. But I'm going to nudge that reach up to 90. Get as many of those 90 plus as we can, and that's all these done. We've got just 2 points left now. I'll just stick them on aerial. So yeah, not a major change there, but it's nice to get that reach up to 90. So we've got 4 over 90 now, and it's just the parrying that's not, but that's 88. So yeah, like I say, you might, if you've got a version of Oblak already, there are 1 or 2 that's slightly better than this one, but if you've not got a good version of him, what can you really say? It's a really good goalkeeper. So yeah, you might want to put low point on him, but I'm not sure if there's anything really negative about this guy. He's got great attributes. It's a really good goalkeeper. And next we have Tony Adams. What a player this guy was. So let's jump onto eFootball Hub. How good is this Tony Adams card? It is fantastic. So I think they've done a pretty good job here. I personally would have thought it'd be a build-up, not a destroyer. They seem to make a lot of Legends destroyers when I wouldn't consider him to be a destroyer, but I don't know, what do I know? But either way, he's a very, very strong defender. So about 6'3", good height for a centre back. Defensive attributes here obviously fantastic. Pace is decent. Jumping's pretty good. Physical contact's great at 91. Good stamina. Down the left, he's just about par for the course for a 5-star centre-back, really. No, he's not great on the ball, but it could be worse. The passing's in the 70s, low and lofted, so can't complain. Skill-wise, it's got everything you need. It's just a complete set of skills for a centre-back. I don't think there's anything missing there that you really need on a centre-back. Maybe you could stick weighted pass on him, one-touch pass, make him a bit more comfortable on the ball, but it's got all the defensive skills he needs, so... Yeah, would I do much with the point allocation? I think if you don't mind a lack of pace in the centre-back, you might just stick with that and think that's just fine. That's fair enough if so. For me, I think you could... I ask for about 90 odd on these defensive attributes here. If you can hit the 90 mark on all of those and spare some points, you see there we can spare 12 points doing that. I think you can have a bit of fun doing that. So what would we do? I'd quite like to make him a bit better technically, so... I'm just going to nudge his dribbling up so all his technicals are 70 plus because he's a big tall guy. He's not going to be the most nimble, and balance is pretty bad, but we get those technicals up a bit. Let's get his speed up to 80. In fact, just one more on there as well, and we get that kicking power up to 80 as well. That's nice. So we've got the speed over 80, kicking power up to 80. I'm not got the points left to increase his aerial or defending. Only got 2 left, but you see that jumping's at 88. We can call in our trusty friend and goalkeeper 1 again. Yoink. Jumping 90. I prefer that build. Yes, you lose a few off defending, but we're still 90 plus in all of these. Tackling at 95 is great. We're 70 plus in all the technicals. Speed's over 80, kicking power hits 80, and we've also got jumping up to 90 with physical 91. Yeah, that looks like a nice build to me. Lovely. I'm not an Arsenal fan by any means, but this guy was an absolutely brilliant centre-back, and I'll be very pleased when I get this guy, which I hopefully will. So, yeah, this is a really, really good centre-back card, and it's one of these cards where I think they're very generous putting this in the pack where most of us are going to get him for free. I think it's a great card. And the last one in this pack, it is Dani Carvajal, Ballon d'Or contender Dani Carvajal. So let's have a look how good this Dani Carvajal is. Comparing it to his previous versions, I had a little look, and he's pretty much on par. All the featured versions of Carvajal seem to be around about the same level, to be honest. So if you've got a good version already, I expect this will be pretty much the same. But if you don't have a good version already, he's a pretty good right back. Looking at the attributes, pretty good pace. The acceleration can be a bit higher, but he's got the speed over 90. I think he's quick enough. Kicking power, the jumping, physical, balance, stamina. Stamina's great. Athletically, I think he's pretty sound down the right hand side. Down the middle there, only one attribute's below the 80 mark, but that's only one off. We'll see to that in a moment. Very aggressive. And down the left, yes, I'd like a bit more on tight possession, but the rest is all fine. I think this is a good solid right back, to be honest. So as I mentioned, I'd like to get that defensive awareness up to the 80 mark. I think it's easy to do that. You're going to know what I'm going to do. Nudge one off speed, stick it on defending, bosh, done. And in fact, there's 1 point on shooting there. Do we need one on shooting on Carvajal? No. Where's goalkeeper 1? There he is. Boop. A bit more jumping. I think that was a bit more practical on the fullback. So yeah, 80 plus now on all the defensives and 90 plus aggression. Still quick, obviously. Everything's fine down here, down the left. Maybe type position is a bit low, but apart from that, it's pretty good. I think he's a pretty good right back. Skill-wise though, just one downside. He needs interception. So one-touch pass, pinpoint crossing, outside curler. Some nice skills to have on an attacking fullback. Acrobatic clearance, fighting spirit, sliding tackle, some nice defensive skills, but he needs some of the most important defensive ones, starting with interception, and then you might want to give man marking, blocker, aero superiority. But interception certainly is a big miss. So if you get this guy, you plan to use him regularly, give him interception. I think it's very important, but outside of that, I think you've got a pretty tidy right back on your hands. So let's move on to the next pack, and it is the Didier Drogba pack. So let's start with Didier Drogba. We'll go straight in with Didier. It's from when he was at Galatasaray. Again, we've got a few legend cards in these packs where they're towards the end of their careers, but they're still pretty decent looking cards. Let's jump over to the hub. How good is this Didier Drogba card? So he's not going to be on the same level as there's been 1 or 2 previous ones, but nonetheless, it's a pretty tight looking card. He's got Fox in the box playing style. I always say I like that playing style on big physical strikers. I think it's a good playing style. He's not going to be darting in behind the defence as much as a poacher, but you don't really want it to be because he's not got the pace to really do that. But for getting on the end of crosses and getting involved in the build-up and just having a kind of good all-round sort of playing style for a centre-forward, I think that's a good playing style on a striker. I like it, and I think he's well suited to it. But I think he could do with being a little bit better technically. So let's just give him a kind of more of a well-rounded build first and see how well we can round him out. We can certainly spare a few finishing. I mean, the awareness at 99 is insane. Finishing 95 is fantastic. Heading 93, jumping 90, physical 95 is fantastic in the air. Big, powerful guy. He's going to win a lot of headers for you. Kicking power is great as well. So with his head and his feet, he's going to be brilliant at taking chances, being in the right place at the right time. He's already got some fantastic qualities, but yeah, like I say, technically he's not the best, he's not the quickest. So let's see if we can just round him out a bit. We can certainly spare a few from finishing. Go down to 5, so he's a 90 finishing. What are we going to do? I want that ball control at the very least to be at 80. It's a shame you have to go up to 9 there. Another 3 points to nudge it up to the 80 mark, but I'm going to do that. I think it's important. Can we spare a bit from dexterity? Yeah. Bit more speed on him? Not quite. What if we take some of that away? Right, we get a speed to 80, we've got 2 left. We'll stick 1 on there, he'll get his heading to 90. Even at level 1, he's great in the air, he's very strong. 1 point left still. Stick up passing, his passing sucks. Be nice to get a bit more on his passing and on his technicals in general, but I think that gives him a bit better of a build for an all-rounder. If you like Drogba, but you don't just want to spam crosses into him, I think a build like this might be better for you, because you've still got the great finishing and heading, still got fantastic attacking awareness, but we've got that technique a bit better. So he's a bit more comfortable on the ball when you feed the ball into him. Passing's still bad, so be careful with the passing. But we've made him a little bit more mobile there. We've got that speed up to 80, so you might prefer this build and Drogba if you're not one for lobbing crosses into the box and long balls forward. If you want to get the ball into feet and use him more as a kind of all-rounder, this might be the build for you, or something similar to this. But if you just want to lob crosses in, you do want to make use of his ability in the air. Let's just go back to something like the auto allocation. So let's just sacrifice a few from finishing again, just see how much of a monster we can make him in the air as a target man. So if we're going to we'll improve his passing a bit, so he's little bit better in the build up, holding onto the ball. Sacrifice some dexterity again, we can afford that. We'll just go down so his balance is at 70, we won't go below there. Oh, how can we get that ball control to 90 again? We can sacrifice 1 off lower body, and then we can get 4 extra on aerial. Oof. So if we are going to use him as a target man, attacking awareness still great, 96. Finishing still really good at 90. Heading 97, jumping 94. Physical contact 99. Kicking power still 90. Got that ball control up to 80. Passing's improved a bit, still pretty rubbish, so still be careful with the passing. But if you want to use him as a target man, not just spamming crosses in to score with his head, but holding the ball up as well, bringing other players into play, trying to play off him, I think this could be a better build for him. Absolute beast in the air. He's 6 foot, almost 6'3", and with these attributes, we've not looked at his skills yet, but you know what he's got. You know he's got aerial superiority, heading, acrobatic finishing. He's gonna be great in the air. He's gonna be great from crosses. He's got first time shot as well. Chip shot control and knuckle shot rising shots. Would you give him long range curler? Maybes. Long range shooting? Maybes. He had a long range shot on him. I feel like he should have had that, to be honest, by default. But yeah, certainly he's got the skills he needs, and in the air, this guy's gonna be an absolute monster. So building him something like this, he could be absolutely potent in the air. To be honest, if you weren't even bothered about the build up, you don't want him to hold the ball up, you just want to lob the ball in from crosses and just score with his head, and that's all you're really concerned about. We could be really filthy, take a few more points away, forget the technique. If you don't think he needs that technique, you just want him to be able to head the ball into the net. Yeah, just put all these points on aerial. That's as high as we can go. 3 points left, look at that. Heading 99, jumping 98, physical 101. It doesn't get much better in the air than that, unless you call in your trusty friend goalkeeper 1, put the last 3 points on there, and then he ends up with jumping 101. I mean, if you literally just want to put this guy up front and lob the ball high into the box, crikey, this guy could be absolutely filthy. 101 jumping, 101 physical contact, 99 heading. If I play against you and you built your Drogba like this, just Lord have mercy, he's not going to be fun to deal with. I'll have to put my Van Boyten in the team, and that'll be a fun battle. But yeah, that's just one build you could do if you want to be absolutely obscene and just spam crosses in and torture your opponent's centre backs. But yeah, a few ways you can use him. And to be honest, when I saw it first, it was a 36-year-old Drogba from Galatasaray. I'm thinking he's going to be past his best. It's not going to be the best card, but I actually think it's pretty decent. If you give an all-round build like I did a couple of minutes ago, could be very usable, could be very effective. But if you're going to be putting a lot of crosses in, you want to focus on how good he is in the air. I think this card could be a lot better than people realize. He could be an absolute monster. So yeah, if he works for you, I think this card could be pretty effective. So let's just finish up by looking at these highlight cards you can get from the Drogba pack. We'll start with Alex Isak. So we'll check him out on eFootball Hub. How good is this Isak card? He is not as good as a couple of previous ones. We had a nominating contract one which I got. It's a little bit higher than this. Goes to 99. This is only going to 97. There's also one in one of those legend boxes. I think goes to 99, 100 as well. So there's been a couple of better versions of Isak, but still a pretty good striker. Just the two areas where I'd like him to be a bit better. We've got a goal poacher here, and that speed of 84. I always say I'd like him to have a bit more speed as a goal poacher. I'd like the finishing to hit the 90 mark as well. So can you really retrain him? Can you do a lot with the build? There's not a lot you can do. Attacking with 93, you could spare a few off there, but the thing with that is that he's only just hit the 80 mark for balance. So I don't know. He's a guy who's 6'3", 6'4". He's a tall, rangy guy. He's not going to be the most nimble, but he does actually feel alright on the ball. You know, I've as I mentioned, I've got a version of Isak, and he's quite a rare striker in the sense that he's tall and rangy, but he's quite technically sound on the ball, and he's got a bit of pace about him. Would we want to sacrifice that pace? Because if you start to sacrifice, sorry, not pace, balance. If you start to sacrifice the balance on a guy like Isak, a tall, rangy guy, he might start to feel a bit awkward on the ball, bit clunky, bit clumsy. So I don't know if you'd want to do that, but I think that's, if you could go with the auto allocation here and just accept his finishing is not that great, it's not that quick. But I think the one thing you've got here is you've got a bit of dexterity to spare if you're happy enough taking that balance down, and that allows you to either get the shooting up to 90, which you may well want to do, awareness and finishing both 90, great, or you could take those few points back and you could just stick them straight on his pace and make him quicker. So really, I think ultimately all I'd really want to do with this guy is just shuffle those few points around. So you can either have that balance hitting the 80 mark, you can have a bit more speed to make him more effective as a goal poacher, or we can make that finishing 90. For me personally, I think I'd probably go with finishing, to be honest. If I use assisted shooting, I use manual shooting, it doesn't really matter for me, but if I'm using assisted shooting like most people, I'd probably go with that. Not the quickest, but still decent pace, tidy on the ball for a big man. Awareness from finishing 90, it's not the best version of Isak we've had, but if you've not got a good version of him, and we'll just look at the skills before I forget actually. He's got some good skills, a few skill moves there, soul control, like I say, he is pretty good in the ball for a big tall guy. But then we've got chip shot control, acrobatic finishing, heel trick, first time shot, outside curler. If you get this guy, you're going to put skills on him. I think long range curler is the first one I'd put on him. And if you want to make the most of the fact he's quite tall, he's not got brilliant jumping, his heading and physical contact aren't outstanding, they could be worse. But you could put heading on him, maybe aerial superiority. I don't think you're going to be able to make him dominant in the air, but he is a very tall guy, so maybe his heading and aerial superiority make him better from crosses. Maybe his long range curler as well, but yeah. Like I say, you got to kind of choose, for me, between finishing, balance and speed, but whichever way you do it, not the best version of Isak, but if you've not got a good version of him, it's still a pretty decent card. Next we'll look at Konaté from Liverpool. So we've got a big build-up centre-back. Let's see on eFootball Hub how good he is. He's pretty damn good. This is one of the better versions of Konaté, actually. It's a pretty good card. So as you can see down the middle there, 90 plus all the defensives. It's got 80 for speed. Not got great acceleration or balance. He's a very big physical guy. He's not just tall. He's about 6'4" and a bit. 95 kilograms as well. This guy is big. So you can't expect a great deal of acceleration or balance, but he does have 80 speed, which is good. His kicking power is just at the 70 mark. Physical contact 98. So very physically strong, very good at defending. Technically he's not brilliant. That jumping is not amazing, but he's very tall. He does have aerial superiority. We've got interception, man marking, out back, starting tackle. What does he need? He needs blocker. Maybe heading. His heading actually is decent though, so I wouldn't worry too much about the heading skill, but you could put that on him. But certainly blocker's the one skill I think I'd look to put on him. Would I tweak the way he's been trained here? I mean, he's just a big physical bully, really. He looks very, very effective at just at defending, to be honest. Bit of speed about him. If you were going to free up some points, you could nick one off defending, still 90 plus and all them. What would I do there? To be honest, I'll tell you what I'd do. I would nudge his passing up just to get 70 for low pass would be nice. 2 points left. You know what we're doing now. Get his jumping up. He's got aerial superiority. He's very tall, but that jump is not the highest, so we'll nudge it up from 81 to 83. I think that's probably worth doing, to be honest. Or, if he didn't want to do the goalkeeper 1 thing, he could just increase his aerial by 1. Physical contact 99, jumping 82, so yeah, I wouldn't do much with the allocation. But to free one up from defending, get that low pass to 70 just looks a bit nicer. Not brilliant on the ball, but like I say, big, very big physical guy. He's going to be a bit clunky. He's going to feel very heavy, but he does have nice speed for a big guy. He's got very good defensive attributes. He's physically supreme. He's going to be bullying a lot of attackers. And although the jumping attribute's not the highest, he's got aerial superiority. He's very tall. He's going to be winning a lot of headers. So yeah, this is one of the better versions of Konaté, and I think this is a pretty good centre-back build-up card. And now the goalie in this pack. So we've got Vicario from Tottenham. Let's have a look on eFootball Hub. How good is Vicario? Decent. He's not on Oblak's level, clearly. Not many keepers are. Oblak's one of the better keepers in the game, really, but this is still a decent keeper. Reflexes are obviously fantastic, 92. The rest of his attributes, awareness and reach, pretty good, but I'd like them to hit the 90 mark. Catching and powering are both okay. Could we do much with the way the points are allocated? Let's take that jumping away. It's got 8 on everything, so we can increase one of these by 1, but we could scrimp a couple from reflexes. I think it's worth it to balance him out a bit. If we took a couple off reflexes, now we've got 8 points. Get the awareness up to 90. And you got 2 points left. Let's go another one back on reflexes, actually. Yeah, I'll do that. I think that's worth doing. It's not a massive change, but 90 awareness, 91 reflexes, reach almost 90. Still kind of okay for catching and powering, so yeah. It's pretty much on par with previous Vicarios. They're all around the same level, to be honest. If you've already got a good version, you might not need this one. But if you don't have a good version already, it's a pretty decent keeper. And even if he doesn't get straight in your team, it might be one of those cards that's worth keeping for when the English League Challenge pops up, just in case you don't have any other keepers from the Premier League with form. So yeah, might not necessarily be better than the keepers you've already got, but it could be one worth having. It's certainly a very decent goalkeeper. And the last highlight card, we've got Marcel Sabitzer. So, Sabitzer, let's have a look on eFootball Hub. Interesting, box to box. Didn't know he's a box to box now. So he's pretty decent. There was a previous Sabitzer that was a whole player that was, I think, in a nominating contract pack. It's quite an old card. I got that. Goes to about the same level as this one. It's pretty similar on the whole. The big difference, though, not just the playing style, that was a whole player. This is a box-to-box, but also that whole player one had more positions. He could play across the attack as well, whereas this guy is just a midfielder. So, is this guy any good, though? He's decent, but as a box-to-box, he's not brilliant defensively. Kind of similar to what we saw with Beckham, to be honest. He's kind of got a bit of defensive ability, but that awareness is horrible. The tackling's not brilliant, so you're not going to be able to rely on this guy to be doing a lot of the defensive work. You'll need 1 or 2 other midfielders in there to be able to win the ball for you and do the defending while this guy does what he's good at, which is getting on the ball and creating, clearly. If we look at skills down here, now he's got interception, to be fair. He does have interception. Outside curler is nice. Through passing, no one-touch pass. That's the first thing you need in this guy skill-wise, one-touch pass. But got through passing, got outside curler there. Going forward, long-range curler, long-range shooting, rising shots, acrobat finishing, first-time shot. He's got some lovely shooting skills. Finishing attribute is not brilliant, so don't ask too much of him with his shooting, but he's certainly got the skills there, and he's in the 70s at least, so he should have a half-decent shot on him. And like I say, he's got interception, which is great, and he's also got fine experience starting tackle, so he's got a bit of defensive ability there. What we're going to do, let's shuffle these points around. He could scrimp a couple from passing there. I'll leave that at 90 on low pass. Question is, can he make him good defensively? I mean, not really. To be honest, like I say, if you've got 1 or 2 other midfielders in there doing the defensive work, having him in there as a box-to-box, he does have interception, a couple of defensive skills down there. His defensive attributes, you know, engagement and aggression, all right. Awareness just over 70, tackling 77. Could be better, but he can do a bit. You could have him as a very attack-minded box-to-box. He could certainly do a job and just focus on creating and scoring goals for you. If you also wanted to train this guy as an attacking mid, and I see he's got a semi-proficient left mid, you could try and get to right mid twice, make him a right mid. I don't think he's got the pace for that. You could make him a Beckham-style winger, give him pinpoint crossing as well, but for all the skill and position trainers, would it be worth it? I'm not sure. But as an attacking midfielder with no active playing style, because box-to-box won't be active there, you could play him attacking mid, and if you trained him there, You can yank all these points back from defending an aerial. Thank you very much. And then what are we going to do? Leave that low pass at 90. Stick that dexterity up. Let's get his attack awareness up to 80. And we can scrimp one from low body. Keep the kicking power at 90. Couple on shooting. Yeah, as an attacking midfielder, by no means a top level attacking mid, but attacking awareness is good at 80. He's tidy enough on the ball. Good passing. I would give him one touch pass. As I mentioned with the finishing, he's not brilliant, but he's got some good shooting skills, so he's got a half decent shot on him. Not the quickest, but good acceleration, great kicking power. A little bit of physical contact on him, and the balance and stamina are kind of okay-ish. Yeah, if you like Sabitzer, it could be a decent card to pick up. It's certainly not a bad card. I think it's just one of these ones where it's a decent one, but he's not got a club affiliation. So league challenges, he's not going to be much use. And is he going to get in a lot of people's teams for divisions and so on? Probably not. So I think it's probably one of these cards where you need to be a fan of this guy if you really want to pick him up and kind of if you're going to use him a lot. But it's not a bad card by any means. It's just not a particularly amazing one. So with all those players looked at, there's just one more player to look at. And this just might be the most valuable player out of all of these packs. It is, of course, Raquel Lombardi. So some great stats there, as you can see. Past 60 for dribbling there. Attacking awareness in the 50s. Speed is over 70. This guy looks amazing, but the one downside is he's got no player skills. So you would need to give this guy a skill. Whatever skill you give him, I guess that's up to you. But if you give him the right skill, I think he could be pretty useful. So there are all your penalty game player rewards, whatever you want to call them. We've got Drogba, Beckham, Ribéry, who most people are going to be getting from today if you've been scoring away penalties, and of course Tony Adams. I think, to be honest, all four of those cards are pretty decent. Beckham, I mean, none of them really are on the level of the best versions of them except Tony Adams. I think that's the first time we've had Tony Adams. There's been one in the database for a while now. It's not been released, but yeah, even though they're not the best versions of them, I think they're still very usable cards. I think Ribéry could be a lot of fun. Beckham could be a lot of fun. Drogba could be not just a lot of fun, but depending how you train, could be very effective. If you like putting crosses in, he could be a monster for you. So, yeah, some very decent players there that we're going to be getting potentially for free from this penalty game, which is decent. I think I've been fairly generous. So, yeah, hopefully you found that useful. Still one or two more packs to do. The ones from the coin still might be the next ones, and then the free Messi. But, yeah, keep your eyes on the channel. There'll be more videos coming. Thursday morning will be Player of the Week. And then Thursday afternoon, I'm planning to do a live stream where I'm going to do my free spins on that 100 player pack. And I'm probably going to cry live on stream when I don't get Baresi. So, yeah, make sure you tune in for that. If you're going to be around for that, it'd be good to see you. And thanks again for watching. Much appreciated. I'll be seeing you soon. Look after yourselves.